Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Happy Healthy Kids event with Soul Tribe. I'm Tanya, and I am a mum, and most of us here in our beautiful team are mums as well. So we are really, really, really passionate about what our program, what our nutritional support does for our children, what it has done for our children. I know, thinking about as a mum, most of us are really, really struggling with, getting enough fruits and veggies in our kids. We might have sick kids all the time, or, just really struggling with behavior and poor sleep and, a whole lot of other things going on as well. I know there's so many conditions that kids get at the moment, ADHD, and I know a lot of our, when we look at statistics, a lot of our mood disorders, our spectrum disorders are all linked statistically through to our gut. So our gut health is so, so, so important. And I know what you'll hear tonight is you're going to hear all about our program and how much it supports people's health, how much it supports our kids. And, you'll hear a little bit about, not just our stories, but also research stories. So, research that is based on actual scientific research that our company has done. So, and thinking about my own daughter, so, I'm a mum of four and two stepchildren. One of the things that I absolutely love about this is that, our kids get the products for free, which is amazing. And what happened for my daughter when she was 15, she's my baby. And when she was 15, she was going through really, really difficult time. She was struggling really badly with anxiety and panic attacks. And to cope with it, she would cut, which was obviously not supportive in terms of her health going forward. So what we found, I just found she was just so tearful all the time. She'd lock herself in her room and, barricade the door so we couldn't get in. She wouldn't come out of her room unless we weren't there to get food. And the only reason I knew she was cutting was because her boyfriend would message me and tell me that Maya is cutting and there's nothing that he can do to help to stop her from taking the blade away. And of course, not really having that support, calling the CAT team, not getting that support. The only thing we were told to do, take her to ED. Well, we couldn't even get in her room to take her to ED. So it was a really, really stressful time for us. We didn't know what to do. She was under psychologist care at the time, and nothing was really helping her. She'd been under that care for quite a few months, and nothing was really changing. And I remember it was about the same time that I discovered our nutritional support in our program that I thought, let's get this. My health wasn't great, but also it was for her. And so it was about that same time that I noticed that, started, ordered, and then started looking at the program and what that was all about. And the psychologist said to both of us, look, there's nothing that we can do here. She really needs to go to see a psychiatrist to get some medication. And of course, neither of us wanted that. So what do? We started using the program and the nutritional support first. And I tell you what, within a week, she was a different girl. She started coming out of her room. I remember her coming out to the kitchen one day when I was there, which she never used to do. And she would say, I feel so positive, Mum. It's really weird. What's wrong with me? And I was overjoyed because, obviously as a mum, you just want your kids to be happy. And so that was really exciting to hear that. I remember coming home one day with the groceries and she was in the kitchen, bent down over the bench. And I said, are you okay, honey? And she'd look up and she's like, yep, fine, Mum. I'm just having a panic attack, but it's all good. And, that was not how life used to be with her. So it was such a blessing to see her, and now putting herself into situations where she really was, normally triggered. And now she's got so much more confidence and she just hardly gets those triggers anymore. She was able to, if she ever did have a trigger, she was able to actually use the resources and the tools and things that her psychologist or psychologist actually taught her, which is amazing. We just want that for our kids. So I'm forever blessed for this incredible, incredible program and product for my daughter. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass you on over to the gorgeous Kieran, and she's going to share all about our program and our nutritional support, what it's all about. and how it's really supportive of our kids.
Hi guys, I have the honour and privilege of being able to share with you this evening a little bit about our program that we have here with the Soul Project and what it enables us to do as far as our busy mums doing what we do to keep kids happy and get on with life. So I'm going to give you the express version with the most important points. We have amazing programs that balance out our mind, body and soul. So without this trifecta, things kind of get out of whack. And these programs that we have are chock full of amazing things that we can do collectively to keep us balanced. And as Tanya said, we have these epic whole food products that nutritionally support our bodies as well as our minds and enable us to kick ass and take names in life as busy mums do. So without further ado, I'm just going to kick off. And with our programs, we have these amazing recipe books. They are all family friendly. So there won't be any of this cooking 5 different meals for one family because you can all eat them at the same time. And obviously try different recipes and remedies, and they're all there for those in the family or those mamas and dads and caretakers that are all electronic. We have everything on the Vitality Hub website, which is epic. But if you're old school like me, I like to print my books out. I'm just going to show you this one shortly. This is a kids smoothie book that we have that's all about making really cool smoothies for the kids, but more about that later. So what I'd like to talk about just momentarily is we have a select few products which are absolutely epic. They are whole food, they are organic, they are pesticide, herbicide free and grown on 3 generational farms. Company's been around for about 50 years, so we're doing well in that department. I'd like to introduce you to what we call our blended omegas that we have. I'm going to start with the head down. These beautiful things support our central nervous system by helping protect our myelin sheath. The myelin sheath is what runs the good fats to and from our brain and down into our body. And these help also with reduction of inflammation of the body and get everything balanced and calmed down so that we can actually take on board the nutrients and the nutritional support that we are taking. Once the system, our adrenal glands are all cool, calm and collected, we can move on to our amazing complete shakes. These are all plant-based, have the superfoods in them as well, and they are chock full of pre and probiotics and are absolutely super duper for looking after our gut. And guess what? Once our gut is all in order, and a lot of people have issues because of the type of food that we're putting into our bodies these days. A lot of it's highly processed. You've got refined sugars and everything else. The body doesn't like that stuff, hence why we do come up with the issues that we have. But these little bad boys, absolutely phenomenal in getting our gut system all sorted, balanced. And once that's in hand, we have amazing our fruit, vegetable and berry capsules, also known as the premium. Okay, I can see them. These are 30 varieties of whole food fruits, veggies and berries that come in a capsulated format. They're about this big. I pulled some out. That's what you're taking. They are in a vegan capsule. And for those who can take capsules, fabulous. For those who can't, guess what? These little bad boys actually pull apart and you can throw them into your shakes and smoothies that you make. So no reason not to take them. With these, okay, so we've got that. With these, the great thing, and which is the reason why we are on tonight, because we are talking about our children and how we can get them to eat our fruit, veggies and berries in a sitting without having an epic food throwing competition. We have our amazing chews. These little bad boys, guess what they're for? They're for our little people. These are amazing. They are chewable. They have a little bit of pectin in them because they make them sweeter, and they look like basically a lolly. And from what you're going to hear, they are amazing for children. They encourage them, or they get them to, you can eat them. As a big kid, I eat them too. They're great for snacks. But they just introduce and bridge the gap for our children to actually get 22 varieties of fruit and veggies in their system without taking mama out and without a screaming match, which is absolutely awesome. These come free when you get an adult order. So for any of you that have children between the ages of 4 and, check this out, 18 years of age, with any order, you can get your child these little bad boys, which I think is cool. Now, for those who have picky children, there's tips and tricks as to how you can introduce these to your children. You can melt them in water. They turn out great. So you're just drinking a little drink. I have put them into baking. We have this amazing superfood recipe that I've just chopped up the chews and put them in there. They're great when they're actually frozen. Shove them in your freezer, and then you pick them out and you can smush the two together because you've got a fruit and a veggie. And hey presto, you've got children that are suddenly deciding that they like to eat healthy. So what we've found when we have children, and I'm sure you'll hear this in a few minutes from others, from mamas, is that once they get on these chews, they are starting to drink water more. They are asking for healthier food options. They are at school more often, meaning less sick days, and guess what? Less visits to the doctor. So if you are keen on that, oh, what did I forget? Oh, yes, no, sorry, detour. With these chews, with the complete shakes, which the children can have as well. The really cool thing is, as I was showing you before, we have, because we love our kids and want them to make healthy choices, really cool kids smoothie recipe books. So if you have little ones that are into the green Hulk, strawberry shortcake, got some cheeky monkeys who like chocolates, or you've got icy Elsa, guess what? You have freaking options to get your children into the kitchen with you, making their own smoothies. They also got tips and tricks, obviously, pre-make everything, put them in the freezer so that the children can actually have fun. Sounds like a winner to me, if I'm going to be honest. So that's it in a nutshell. It's very abbreviated. I hope you've got some really cool information. I am now going to pass you over to the beautiful Dominique, who is going to share her story.
Before you do, I just want to add in how amazing our shakes are for healthy hot chocolates for our kids. No more Milo full of high sugar. I just want to say this has worked really well for my kids. So just want to add that in. Thank you so much, Kieran, for your share, gorgeous. And Dom, thank you, honey.
Thanks, Karen. So myself and my son have been on the product now for about a year. I started it for myself just to improve my health. I was on a health journey, and so I purchased the premium capsules. And as a bonus, my son Caden got the chews as well, which is awesome. Who doesn't like to save money? And so we've both been on them. And probably for Caden, the first thing that I noticed was that his hair growth, his hair just started growing, and also his eyelashes. So which is, he's a boy. Great if it was a girl, but I still have to say I love looking at his eyelashes now. So they've grown a lot. His appetite also improved. He didn't have a huge appetite before. Like, he always ate quite healthy, but his appetite wasn't overly huge. So it's now, in this last year, it's just gone up and increased over the months, which is fantastic. And it's meant that he's actually put on a little bit more weight, because prior to that he was a little bit on the skinny side. I think the most significant thing that I've noticed with him is his immune system. So before taking the chews, he would go swimming, and every time, without fail, he would come back a day or so later, he'd have a snotty nose. And it was a bit frustrating for me because I wanted him to swim and I wanted him to learn to swim, but I was just always very reluctant for him to go and swimming because of that fact. But for the last year, he's actually been super healthy. I think he's been sick maybe once with a snotty nose, but that was only lasted a couple of days. And so for me, and he goes swimming every week now. Obviously, outside of COVID, when it was COVID, he didn't, but he would go. He goes every week, and no more snotty nose. As Karen's off work for me, so yeah, it's fantastic. He also really likes the shakes as well, so I give him a shake, probably not every day, but maybe every couple of days he has a shake, either the vanilla or the chocolate, and he loves both of those. And it's just a great way for him to get his milk up, as well as all the superfoods in the shakes. And yeah, so it's been fantastic. And I have to say, it's been, you can't put a price on health, and certainly you can't put a price on your kids' health. And so for me, it's definitely money well spent in terms of my health, and then obviously the bonus getting his health covered as well. So yeah, it's been brilliant. So that's me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
worries.
Dom. It's so lovely to see your beautiful face, honey. It's been a wee while. So thank you for your share.
Thanks, Tanya.
Love your story. Thank you. See you.
Okay, see ya.
I'm now going to pass you on over to the gorgeous Hilary, and she's going to have a chat about her grandchildren.
Thank you for doing that. I always struggle to find that on my phone. Yeah, hi, I'm Hilary, and I was just actually looking. I've been taking the products for over a year myself, but next year is my anniversary with JP. And initially, I started on the program because I'd had breast cancer 4.5 years ago. And throughout that process and everything I learned, I just understood that my body, it felt better in a more alkaline environment anyway. But it's just the way I enjoy eating anyway. But I really, really struggled to get good quality produce, and especially spray-free, good quality organic produce that, you know, to juice and things like that. So when Maxine approached me about the program and the nutritional support, it just kind of made sense. But at the same time, I sort of went, it just seemed too simple. And it was the strangest thing, because I knew that was what was lacking really in my body, and that my body felt better, but these things just felt too simple. Anyway, I ended up starting on them and giving them a go, and I knew within a month that I'd found something pretty amazing, actually. I won't lie, the detox that I went through for that first month wasn't comfortable, but it was all okay because I knew what was happening, and I understood that, and I knew that, you know, on the other side of this, I was going to start feeling better. But what I didn't understand at the time was the absolute gift that this company gives our children. That my order, I could get one of my grandchildren on board starting on the process, and I've got 6 of them. The ones that I've seen the most massive difference in are the ones that live on Waiheke. And Tammy will back me up on this. I'll back up a little bit too. I was on Waiheke the year before I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and you used to come down. We had a vineyard at the end of our road, and the car would be sticky with spray. That was our water supply. Try growing a vegetable garden. We just had all of this spray stuff all over us, and my Waiheke kids have grown up constantly with this spray environment. The eldest one and the youngest one had chronic asthma and eczema, and they were on huge medication. They were taken off the island, taken to hospital. So one by one, through families starting on these, through the program, I've been able to get each of them on board. And so they're getting gifted their products, and it's just transformed their lives. Especially the Waiheke lot, they are just hardly using any medication now. They got a couple of colds last year, but nobody ended up in hospital. And as you can imagine, you know, that it's a helicopter ride off, or it's a police boat late at night, and she's got 3 other kids. And for her, this has just absolutely transformed her life. And it was funny too, just talking about the ears, because prior to one of my other grandsons going on, he'd been getting glue ear, yet no sort of symptoms to have antibiotics or anything like that. It was more his speech and his hearing. So he had the grommets put in, and then he started on our program, and it's just absolutely transformed his life. Again, we've also removed dairy from his diet, which is another inflammatory food that really didn't agree with him. But they've just had, since they've started, all of them now, 9 months. It's just been huge, absolutely huge. And it's such a gift to be able to know that, you know, on a good day, that they're getting all of these fruit and veggies into their diet. Because most of them, you think, what you're lucky to get in, a couple of pieces of broccoli, maybe a couple of pieces of carrot if you're lucky, and kids just don't eat the variety. And for me too, the bonus is that they're spray free and just such high quality. Yeah, it's been amazing.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing, Hilary. I'm so happy at the changes your grandkids have had.
Thank you.
So good. Thank you. We're now going to pass you on over to the gorgeous Sarah, and she's going to talk about her children.
Hi guys, thanks for that. I'm Sarah, and I have been part of this fantastic program, community, tribe for almost 2 years. Absolutely loving it. The reason I first came on was for myself, but as everybody else has said, the bonus of having our children sponsored is another big step for me. I want to tell you a little story, background story for my story. Our daughter was born 3 weeks early, 3 weeks premature, because we lost a child before her. So we had to have her induced early. And from the age of about 2, she was very sick. And I didn't know whether it was because she was early or anything. It was that paranoid mum system. But anyway, she was sick every winter, whether it be ear infections, tonsillitis, throat infections, everything you can think of. We were in Wanganui at the time, and we didn't move down to Nelson until she was about 3. So from about there on, twice a year, easy, we were in the hospital. She had either throat infections, ear infections, vomiting, because of course with throat infections and bronchiolitis and ear infections, the pain can create nausea. The nausea ends up vomiting. She ends up being low in fluid and all that kind of thing. So she then ended up having to be put in hospital. And my Facebook friends would see twice a year, oh, we're in hospital again with Georgia. Now, Georgia is now 15. She's setting her first year of NCEA this year. And I can safely say that she is going to be perfectly fine, because since I've been on the products, she has been sponsored by my brother-in-law, because both my girls have been on the products. And so therefore, both of them are being sponsored, one by me, one by Jim. And she has been a totally different girl. Since she's been taken to choose, she has had no sick days from school for the last 2 years. And this is big news for me, because she was always sick, as I say. She is now having smoothies in the morning. She's lecturing me, come on, Mum, we've got to have our smoothie. And she's actually said to me, you've got to make the smoothie before I go to school from now on, because she's got into that routine during the school holidays of having a smoothie with me. So my routine is going to change soon. So smoothies for breakfast, granola, yogurt. She's eating better. She's not eating any of that high sugar cereal that most kids do eat. She's in the kitchen with me every night, helping me cook dinner, preparing vegetables. And as Karen said, she's looking through our fantastic recipe books, and she sat me down last night and said, okay, these are some good lunch ideas to make for lunch as mum. So I've had this huge long recipe list that I had to go to town today and get. So she's really thinking outside the square, thinking, okay, we need to eat healthier. And it's not been overnight. It's been a process, and it's really hard to get broccoli into her, because she used to eat broccoli because I would force her to, but now she tends to gag on broccoli. But I don't care, because I know she's getting the broccoli in her via the chews. The only way she'll eat broccoli is if it's smothered in cheese sauce, which I don't do too often. So that is a little bit of my story. As I say, I've got two gorgeous girls, but the one that's blown me away the most is Georgia. And as I say, she is now 15, NCEA level 1 this year, and I think she's going to blow it out the water. I really do. So she's my cheerleader. So I will pass you on to Amira.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for your share, honey. Thank you so much. So Amira, are you there, honey? Are you there? I can't see your...
Yes, I'm here. Hang
Oh,
on.
you're there.
Sorry.
Hang on, I've got to find you.
Shh.
Hello, darling. The beauty of our business is mumming it while we do our business.
Hi.
Gorgeous.
Sorry.
Hi, gorgeous.
Holding
Oh my
children,
God,
locking myself in a bedroom with the littlest one. Hi, everybody.
Like a rock star.
My journey with these products and program has been about 5 months now. And so I started for myself. I was malnourished and I was tired and I was grumpy all of the time. And my kids were missing out, I felt. And I really wanted to do something about that. So I jumped on board and I noticed amazing differences in myself. And I also got to sponsor my kids. So my mum has placed an order and my nana has placed an order. Sorry, I've got a busted up lip because me and my child had a head incident the other day. I just noticed it and thought it looked horrible. And so also I've got 3 children. I've got a 12-year-old boy, a 5-year-old boy, and a 2-year-old. And my oldest child actually had a lot of like bladder and bowel issues. He was still having several accidents at, like his age. And we'd seen several specialists and we just couldn't work it out. And he was just getting backed up. And in him, I've really noticed that, like, this year, I think he's had 1 accident, which is really big because he was still having a couple a week and he hated it. It was embarrassing for him because he actually didn't have control over it. It was just his body. It was really horrible for him. And so he's starting to come right, and he's going through the teenage boy puberty grumpy phase as well, which I thought I might escape because I had boys, but turns out you don't. They're just as grumpy and hormonal as girls. And so I've really noticed that it's helped him kind of regulate. He doesn't live with me full time, and he eats a lot of high carb, a lot of meat. He lives in a house with a big family, and so it's bulk meals, like big stews, and he wasn't getting a high content of fruit and veg, and he really craves that now as well. He starts asking for it too, which is really cool. My middle boy, he's just your rough and guts middle child, and I haven't noticed any amazing differences in him, but he's still rough as guts. He loves the chews. Like, you couldn't meet a bigger fan. Like, he'd jump on here himself and give you a rundown on them because he just loves them. He's always the first one, Mum, can we have our JPs, please? And that's really, really cute. And so he's a raving fan. And with Carter, my baby here, he had horrible eczema, and it was weird eczema, like it wasn't that like broken raw eczema. It was just like a rash everywhere, and he itched all the time constantly, and it didn't matter what washing powder I changed. Oh, wow. Being told to look at something, not sure what. Yes. Okay. Can I finish talking to my friend?
Yeah.
Thanks. And got permission. And so his skin has cleared up 100%. He's showing me his hand. Show me your hand. So you can kind of see the scarring on his boob. You can kind of see the scarring on his hand. So he had a really raw, bad eczema here, like to the stage that it scarred his hand. But it hasn't flared up once since we've started taking the products. He's still breastfed as well, so he gets like double doses. And the smoothie bowls, man, like this kid is obsessed. I had to buy him his own pretend blender for Christmas and like pretend cut up fruit. Your blender, yeah. So he could make his own smoothies because he was forever pulling a chair over to the bench and trying to get in my blender. And so I've got him his own one because that's how much of a fan he is of the smoothies and the smoothie bowls. And we're just a raving fan family, really. Whoa. We're also at bedtime.
Oh, we love
So
it.
I'll end my conversation there because it's
Thank
about as
you.
much as I'm going to be able to get out. I'm sorry it was a bit disjointed. Moral of the story has helped all of my children and we love them.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. I love it. It was such an amazing share and just showing off our business beautifully as a mum, a mum first. Thank you so much, honey. I actually didn't know that much about your story, so it's good to know. I'm now going to pass you on to the gorgeous Tammy, and she's going to talk about her beautiful daughter.
Hi there, Amira. I love your story. That was so good. And yeah, I'm just backtracking to Hillary as well because yeah, I'm an ex-Waiheke girl, and actually one of my first great or longest customers is actually my best friend from school who's still living on Waiheke, and she's had chronic fatigue for a long time, and she was unable to go and hang with her kiddies who are now teenagers until she came across these, and I put her on. I don't know whether Waiheke sprays have got something to do with it or not, but she was really, really, really sick and, you know, just unable to get out of bed. So that was number one for me, was watching her actually get time back with her kids. She's now actually up and going for tramps and beaches and everything. So anyway, yeah, my ties to Waiheke, but I came on tonight to have a little chat about my own daughter, Hazel, who is now 22, but she has had a lot of gut disorders and eating disorders and low weight and chronic fatigue. I thought she had like the sleeping beauty disease because she was sleeping in bed about 20 hours a day. She missed all her teenage years of really, you know, being a young, beautiful girl and being able to go out and have fun, because mostly she was riddled with migraines and body pain and just really, really miserable. And like Tanya's daughter, there was a lot of self-harm going on. Lots I didn't know about, but lots that I'd find evidence of later. There were some times that she was taken to hospital and I didn't even know. People were too scared to tell me how damaged she was because it was too horrific. They didn't want me to see it. And so a little bit emotional. I forgot how bad it was. But yeah, so I came across these products really because originally I wasn't really sure what my sister was getting into. My sister's 8 years younger, and I was a little bit worried about what she was up to. So I went along to meet Tanya and find out all about these products. And what I saw was maybe an opportunity for my daughter to get some good food into her without me having to cook and prep and leave it in the fridge every day in the hope that she might eat it. And 9 times out of 10, she wasn't. And so I really started her on the caps first, and that was just a real trial. You know, I hadn't tried it on anyone else yet. I was in pretty good shape, so I didn't really know what I was supposed to feel. I definitely haven't been as sick, but the real biggie was my daughter. Like Tanya, I went into the kitchen one day and she was actually up and cooking herself some food. And this was huge. It was really huge. I didn't know what had come over her, but she'd come across our program. She'd had a look through the recipes and she was just dead keen to try something, but she'd been on the products for about 2 months and I'd noticed her just slowly regaining a bit of energy. So I hadn't noticed that much, and this was a pretty big wake up for me that something was going on, something really amazing was going on. And so for us, she was in the mental health system, and she was in the eating disorder system, and she was doing weekly counseling and weekly doctor's check-ins and weekly weigh-ins, and that alone was exhausting her. She was spending most of her week mustering up the energy just to get to those appointments, and the mental stress was making her more fatigued. So within the first 4 months, we were completely given a all clear from the doctors and the mental health team that we could stop having so many visits, and they monitored her quite distantly from there. And I had to do a lot more monitoring just to make sure things were really good. And yeah, she just slowly started gaining weight. We've been with it for just over 2 years now, and my daughter now has had a couple of part-time jobs. She has recently come home really, really excited because she went to grandma's and weighed herself, and she's hit 50k for the first time since she was about 16. So that's really, really, really big achievement for us. And the fact that she's happy about it as well, like her attitude's changed, her moods are good. I mean, she has the usual hormonal stuff, but nothing like what was going on for us before. So yeah, just to keep it short, in a nutshell, it's been a complete like godsend, life-changing thing for us, and we are lifers. Yeah, we absolutely love this, and my daughter joined the business with me too, so I have a little sidekick. Yeah.
Aww,
Thanks for listening, and back to Tanya. Thank you.
thank you, Tammy. Love it. Oh, I just love all these beautiful stories. It just, yeah, I just love it. And, you know, one of the things, you know, hearing all these stories here too, one of the things that I remember that was quite significant as well, because obviously we've got 2 children that have the free product. As teenagers, most teenagers eat shit, and something that they are, you know, not good at is eating really, really good food. And of course, you know, you mentioned to them, you know, eat some veggies, and they're like, nah, we're not eating that green stuff. One of my kids in particular was really, really fussy, and he continued being a fussy eater right through into his teenage years. Well, I tell you what, something we noticed that was massive was that they started taking vegetables in their lunch boxes to college every day. And that just about blew me away. I remember thinking, whoa, really? You know, you're taking really good food. You know, so what we find often is we find kids are just, you know, for kids who don't like vegetables, they start craving it. They start asking for it. They start asking for food that they wouldn't normally ask for, because, you know, when you're giving your body the nutrients in the form, the sustainable form that it's meant to have it in, your body actually starts craving more of that. So it stops looking for those refined sugars, for those processed foods, for those processed carbs and proteins that your body is used to getting, because it's getting it in the form that it actually wants to get it in the most, and the way that it's supporting your body in the best way. So I absolutely love that. And I absolutely love too that our child health study, you know, the free product, gives so many of our kids a chance to actually have a really great start in life, to be able to have set up some really good healthy eating habits. And, you know, one of the other things that I will mention too, and I know that Sarah mentioned it as well, that, you know, part of our program is, you know, we do have a kids recipe book like Kieran talked about, that, you know, gives you a whole lot of lunchbox ideas that are actually healthy, because, you know, it's really, really difficult. I know as a mum, I was a solo mum like Amira, and I found it really, really hard to buy, because, you know, I was always broke. I found it really hard to find really good, healthy food that was cheap. It was all just highly processed and refined sugar foods. And of course, I didn't really have the time to be baking all the time. And if I did, it would go so fast because I had 4 kids. It was gone just like that. So, you know, to know that we've got some really beautiful, healthy snack ideas around, you know, how to do simple things that taste good, that is really good for them. Plus, there's our amazing shakes as well, which is a great after school snack, even if they don't have it as a smoothie. And then, of course, our yummy chews. So excited and just loving our shares tonight. Thank you so much for watching and for joining us this evening. Now, if you have been sent this by, you know, somebody, and you do have questions, you would love to actually be part of this, you'd love to support your children's health, then our program is actually free. And of course, our, you know, your child product is also free. all you're paying for is your own order, which is really super exciting. So get in touch with the person who sent you this link, and please just ask them questions, get your order in. Let's get your healthy family lifestyle started, and really support you all as a family to create a better, healthier lifestyle going forward. And us as parents, we are the role models, so it's got to start with us. Let's look after our kids' health. Thank you so much for joining us.